Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. If you're new here, I'm Rob, and I talk about high-end collectible comics and comics art. Subscribe if that's your kind of thing. I love to talk about comics, and I post 1 or 2 videos a week doing just that. In this video, I'm going to cover the upcoming ComicLink Featured Auction, which opens tomorrow as of this recording, probably like today when you see this, which is this whole video is basically going to be me showing you a bunch of Golden Age Captain America comics because there's a great Captain America collection for sale in this auction. There's some other stuff, but that's the thing that just blew my mind. I haven't researched who's selling these, by the way. So if it's someone I know, you're welcome. I'm happy to have shared like 15 of your books, and I'm going to talk like wax poetic about the run because it's a really good run. There's some other cool stuff, but the highlight for me is clearly those Captain Americas. As an aside, I am bidding on a non-trivial piece of art in this auction. I'll let you know if I win. I probably won't let you know if I lose. Green Lantern number 40, CGC 9.8, near mint. First Crisis, second Golden Age Green Lantern in the Silver Age. The last 9/8 of this exceptionally cool book. I love Green Lantern. I love Hal Jordan. I love Silver Age DC, so I think it's a cool book. The last 9/8 of this sold for $3,000 in 2015, which is half the high for this book in GPA. A copy sold for $6,200 in 2009. It'll be interesting to see where this one goes. As an aside, there are so many pedigrees of this book. Donna Maggie Thompson, Twin Cities, Western Penn, Bethlehem, Rocky Mountain, Western Penn. I wonder if those are 2 Western Penns because that happens, or if one of them got upgraded. Northland pedigree, Pacific Coast, which is a lowly 9.2, Savannah, and Ohio. There's actually a Bowling Green 8.0 as well, but I couldn't get it into the screenshot. I was surprised at how many pedigree copies. It's a later DC key, but still, there aren't many DC keys that have pedigrees like representation from everything, and this one does. Interesting book, Fantastic Four number 55, CGC 9.9, Boston pedigree, single highest graded, not surprisingly. They have a note in here that this is like the only 9.9 between number 1 and 194 or something like that, which is ridiculous. Yeah, there's not many Silver Age 9.9s or mints, and a lot of them are like kind of weird books. So this one is cool. Silver Surfer thing, battle cover. Love it. It's early, so you do have to take a look at the book. It looks pretty good to me. Like I'd like to see it in hand, but like honestly, I don't see any damage from the slab. I, I'm hesitating because it's a 9.9 and it should basically be perfect, but like I looked at the scan of this and it doesn't look too bad at all. Um, I would love a heritage size scan because then you can actually like get the laser out and like see exactly how square the corners are and stuff like that. But honestly, like look at this little graphic. The corners do not look like anything has happened to them. Maybe the slightest blunting on the lower right-hand corner, but that could just be a figment of my imagination or a trick of the light. I don't know. I'd love to see it in person. This book sold for $31,070, November 19th, 2015. And in 2008, January 4th, it sold for $16,000. So I think it's going to sell for more than that this time. Daredevil 1, CGC 9.6. I love this book. This book, interesting arc, right? So when I was trying to buy a 9.4, 9.6s, a bunch of 9, well, there were 3 9.6s at the time, and they all sold within 2010 and 2011. And they had kind of diminishing returns between 2013 and 2014. So this book, which had sold for as high as $62,000, sold as low as $22,722 and $23,900 in 2013 and 2014. Now, I'm letting you know right now, I was going for one of those. Like I don't remember which I was going for because my my limit for a 9.4 was like 20,000. So I was like, well, I'll search around the couch cushions and get a couple thousand more and get a 9.6. And I came pretty close. I wasn't like all in, which was stupid. Sometimes you think like, oh, maybe, and no, really, you should just go all in. But anyway, the book is rebounded, selling for as high as $150,000 since, and averaging, around $100,000 for the past few years. So that's pretty cool. But yeah, it was like almost within reach, and I didn't quite get it, and I ended up spending 18,000 on a 9.4. So it didn't quite work out perfectly for me, although that was a great book. So I'm going to go back through and figure it out because, like, it's one of these books. Oh, it might have been ComicLink. I don't know. It's one of these books, and I could go through and like see like your bid of whatever failed. I don't know. Gorgeous book, and hopefully it goes to a nice home. I got nothing much to say about this one other than it's a really nice copy. Daredevil #2, CGC 9.8, near mint. And here it is. Very cool looking book. Really sharp, actually. Red cover. I love this cover. I love this book. Second Electro, which makes it a key for Spider-Man fans. Here's a cool one I haven't shared before. Mr. Mystery #12, CGC 1.8, good minus. Auction begins soon for this classic injury to eye. And there's actually a decapitation panel inside this one too. Quite an interesting book. Things got funky in the 50s. This one though, take a look at it. For a 1.8, I didn't look at the graders notes because I'm lazy, but it really looks nice for 1.8. I wonder what's happened. Maybe there's a coupon clipped or something. I don't know. But it's not like you're buying it for the interiors. You're buying it for the cover, and the cover looks fine for a 1.8. There's a little piece missing on the back if you look at the back cover scan, but who cares? Again, because you're buying it for the front cover. And mycomicshop.com makes an appearance. It sold for $3,000. Pep Comics #22, CGC 9.6, near mint plus. Restored, A5, extensive professional, cleaned, interior lightened, staples replaced. Restoration includes color touch, pieces added, tear seals, spine split sealed, reinforced. I wonder who did the work because, this could look really cool. 9.6 of this book is, can you imagine this walking in, you didn't know any better? You're just like, oh my God, this is like a $5 million book. And then you realize that it's a Franken book. But I don't mind restored books personally, even though I call them Franken books. When there's this much that's happened to them, I will use that term. Rare book, as I talked about in my deep dive into Golden Age keys and the visualization, the toughest of the top 20 Golden Age keys to acquire in unrestored condition, and not easy in restored condition either. There just aren't that many of them out there. Silver Surfer #1, CGC 9.8, John G. Fantuccio pedigree. I couldn't find this one easily on the ComicLink archives because this sold at ComicLink previously when the John G. Fantuccio books came out. So I don't know what it sold for before. The last two copies of this book sold for $132,000, including a Boston copy. And I say a Boston copy because there's probably multiple in 2024. And it's a pretty sharp looking book, I think. It's nice to see these square bounds like look that sharp. There's only a little bit of like kind of a wrap towards the front on the spine. Really nice looking copy. This book will be featured in my classic covers video, which I'm working on right now. Startling Comics #49, CGC 9.6, near mint plus, highest graded, 1 of 6, which is surprising, not surprising. Actually, these later, like Nador, Better, Standard, whatever publisher it actually was at this point, they're actually available in high grade, like pretty easily, which is funny because I don't know. I mean, it's just funny. Why would you think that? But they are. Because as I mentioned before, I collected Exciting and had my eye on this cover as well for a while, and it was always for sale. So, but this one's incredible. I mean, just take a look at it. Alex Schomburg, Zella. This is specifically a Zella cover. The airbrush covers are insane, but Alex Schomburg rules this video. He rules it. This is going to be like the most Alex Schomburg centric video I've ever done. So the last two sales for this book are $64,000 in 2018 and then $54,970 also in 2018 in May. So it's been a while since a 9.6 has come up for sale. So going to be interesting to see what this one does. I think it's definitely going to go over $100,000. It just depends on how much over. As an aside, there is a church copy. So Startling Comics #49, Mile High Pedigree sold at Heritage August 4th, 2016 for $101,575. Okay, I'm going to tell you right now to go to ComicLink, search Captain America in the featured auction preview, and take a look at this Captain America collection. It's really nice. It's somebody who was really thoughtful about getting the best books that they can at every level, has really nice books. They present well, like as a collection, and there are some absolute killer books later on the run. But the #1 is a 7.0, which is significant to begin with. The #2, 7.5, conserved, really nice looking copy, etc. But go through and take a look because I'm only focusing on what I felt like were the highlights, the really high grade copies, pedigree copies, etc. But you should take a look at the whole collection because it's really cool. And again, if it's somebody I know, shoot me a message. Let me know. I will probably mention these books again because they're really cool. So, but let's take a look at some of the highlights. Captain America Comics #1, CGC 7.0. A nice looking 7.0. That little damage in the upper left-hand corner in the red there is really the only thing that detracts from the front cover, which is, with this book especially, is an important part. I've talked about it many times, how introducing the character on the front cover in their first appearance is important. And this may be the best introduction of a character on the cover of their book outside of Superman. I mean, that Superman is incredible because it also introduced the idea of superheroes to the general public. But this one is just, it's got everything. And the image of Captain America punching Hitler in the middle is just like one of the most iconic things ever in the history of comics. So, can you imagine being a kid walking up to the newsstand and seeing this? It still gives me chills. I love it. If you watched my Golden Age Keys video, link in the description, you know that Captain America Comics is one of the easiest books to get in high grade, and that there are a number in 7.0. And they sell all the time in 7.0, which is just crazy because 7.0, like, as I talked about for a Pep Comics #22, is like break out the champagne because you've got one of the top 3 copies or whatever that is. There are 7.0s, I think. I might be wrong, but there's a lot, and they sell all the time, as you can see. The last one sold for $266,814, and a couple have sold for over $300,000. So we'll see how this one does. It's a really nice copy, and you would be lucky to come home with it. Captain America Comics #10, last, Simon Kirby Captain America, which is probably not talked about enough because that's a significant thing, since they set the tone for the character and really set the tone for the Marvel universe for the next, bazillion years. CGC 9.2. This is not a pedigree copy, but sure looks like one. Really sharp copy, and cream to off-white pages, but the front cover doesn't really show any paper degradation. I think it's really sharp. The red is really, really nice. There's a little A notation in the America of Captain America, but other than that, not much I don't like about this one. Okay, we're going to go through a run of pedigrees. This is not all of the pedigrees that are in this collection, which is, you can guess why I like it, right? There's like, gets the best copy of #1, gets a really good copy of #2, etc. Lower grade, but still really nice looking copies in the lower numbers. And then once we get into the higher numbers, it's like, when they're available, this collector picked up the pedigree copy. So Captain America Comics #32, CGC 9.6, Chicago pedigree, single highest graded. And just take a look. I'm not going to talk much about the values of these books, unless the book itself had sold previously, but because I'm just trying to show you these covers. And this is not a Schomburg cover; it's Sid Shore's, but still dynamic in that way that Timely's were. This book sold. Okay, so this one is going to make a mint for the consigner. This book sold July 4th, patriotic, July 4th, 2002, for $8,711.25. As a CGC 9.4. So it got a bump. It definitely survived the old holder, and they have $8,711 into the book, plus grading fees for the 9.6. But yeah, I think they're going to do better than that because that is a gorgeous copy. And if you're looking for the best of the best, single highest graded. Captain America Comics #33, CGC 9.4, Crowley pedigree, highest graded, one of 2. Look at the preservation on this classic Brenner Pass cover from Alex Schomburg, the Alex Schomburg. I love the image of Captain America in the middle of this cover. It's so dynamic, and it's like right in the middle of action before things really go crazy as he lands in the middle of the soldiers shooting on his allies. So here's one. We all know that the Captain America Comics #1, Mile High Church copy, is not in John Verzel's collection because he's got the Allentown. Here's another Timely church copy that John Verzel doesn't own. Captain America Comics #33, Mile High pedigree, CGC 6.0, definitely not up to snuff for the rest of that collection. So this one is out in the wild somewhere. I would love to own this book. Just saying. I've owned Church Timely, not a superhero one, but I've owned a Church Timely, so I feel pretty cool about that. Back to gorgeous books. Captain America Comics #37, CGC 9.6, Crowley pedigree. Again, single highest graded. And again, Look at that cover. Look at that cover. Look at that Schomburg cover. It's incredible, and preservation is amazing. And off-white pages, which I believe, and actually, you look at the really looks pretty fresh. The white on that cover is really pretty good, and yeah, you cannot beat that action from Schomburg. Like, sit down, open the photojournal guides, and just look at the covers of these timely superhero books. You just get blown away. They were just crazy. Captain America Comics number 41, CGC 9.2, Davis Crippen D pedigree, one of the top 5 graded overall. So this is the last Japanese war cover, and from Alex Schomburg as well. And I love the perspective on the bridge. I think it's really dramatic layout and design for this cover. And actually, the plot that the Japanese are trying to do, they're trying to blow up the bridge with TNT. That's a lot of TNT. It's a lot of dynamite right there. So, but Captain America is saving the day. So there we go. So this one I wonder about. The person did get a bunch of their books regraded. They did not get this one regraded. Captain America Comics number 44, CGC 9.2, Crowley pedigree. I wonder why. And so I looked at the book, and the only thing that I saw is that there's a little bit of paper loss in the upper left-hand corner. I haven't actually looked at the grading dates for some of the books that are in new holders. I just wonder if they were worried about the paper loss in the upper left-hand corner. That, that kind of thing can fly in 9.2. We were talking about it when I talked about the PGX books. And yeah, it could just be like a bindery tear, but maybe they were scared. I don't know. Regardless of the number on the cover, this book is insane looking. The red and yellow on this pops so much. And it is always funny to look back at the period where Captain America starts fighting like criminals in the United States. It's not quite the level of difficulty that he had when he was like defeating an entire battalion of German soldiers. Captain America Comics number 48, CGC 9.2, Crowley pedigree, one of the top 4 graded overall. Another gorgeous book, another Schomburg cover, and another like Captain America and Bucky fighting crime in the New York City subways. One last, Captain America Comics number 56, CGC 9.2, Crowley pedigree. These Crowley books are really nice. Superman number 14, CGC 9.0, very fine near mint. I love this book, so when I saw a nice high-grade copy, I had to share it. And it's a really sharp-looking copy. I don't even know why it's a 9.0. I would have to look at the grader's notes and figure out why this book only got a 9, because I've seen 9.4s in the golden age that weren't as good looking as this book. This book is sharp. I love doing this stuff, showing you guys these mint books. Ultimate Fallout number 4, First Miles Morales, CGC 9.9, mint, single highest graded, which is surprising to me because this book has been graded en masse. And by the way, this book is not in GPA, the 9.9. 9.8s are maybe one of the biggest bubble books. So they went from $200 in the beginning of 2020 to $4,499 in 2022, and they've come back down to 1,400, between 700 and 1,400 in 2025. So that's a pretty big bubble book right there. Because I've talked about on the podcast, I talked about bubble prices. So I have no idea what this 9.9 is going to sell for. The 9.9 could just shrug off any bubble after effects because it is a 9.9. And Miles Morales is a popular character, and it is a significant key from that perspective. Like I said, I'm bidding on some art, but I'm going to share one piece of art as well because, I love Jim Lee, and I remember these books. I remember these Punisher War Journal books coming out, and they were really cool, and it was kind of my first inkling of how good Jim Lee could be. Punisher War Journal number 4 cover, Jim Lee art. Let's take a look at it. There we go. He was already pretty good. This is him just like kicking the tires on being a comics artist, right? He's just getting started. And yeah, inked by Carl Potts, so not quite the magical combination of Scott Williams and Jim Lee, but really good. Carl Potts is a great inker. So, and with that, we're done. Thanks for checking this one out. It was a fun one to do. Like I said, those Captain Americas just blew my mind. I could have done a whole video on just those. If you get a chance, go check out all of those books. It's a really nice collection, and I hope it really does well because it is like one of my favorite Golden Age titles, one of my favorite characters, and it's just a wonderful collection of some really great books. So I am going to take a look at the upcoming Heritage Signature Auction. I have the classic comic covers video that I'm working on that's going to take a little while, but is in progress right now. And I have to take a look at the Comic Connect 63 event auction, which is coming up soon as well. So this is going to be a fun month of comics. I'm going to enjoy talking about it. So if you haven't yet, please like and subscribe, share with your friends. Thanks, and I'll see you in the next one.